Karnataka Minister Priyank Kharge says he has served notice to government employees who attended the RSS centenary celebrations, vows to suspend them in the next few days. Infosys founder Narayan Murthy and his wife Sudha Murthy declined to participate in the Karnataka government's socio-economic survey. State government says it's completely voluntary. No consensus within the Mahagathbandhan over seat-sharing pact in Bihar. Congress holds a key meeting over ticket distribution one day before nominations end for Phase 1. After Pakistan and Afghanistan agreed to temporary truce, Pakistan Defence Minister says ceasefire with Taliban unlikely to hold, blames India for nudging Kabul. Amid raging debate over his participation in the 2027 ODI World Cup, Virat Kohli puts out a cryptic post to critics, says when you only fail when you decide to give up. The Karnataka versus Andhra Pradesh fight over infrastructure and investments is only getting intense. In the latest development, Andhra Pradesh Minister Nara Lokesh took a jibe at the Congress government in Karnataka, saying that the food in Andhra is spicy and so are investments, both enough to make neighbours feel the burn. Following which, Karnataka Minister Santosh Lad credited the centre for backing Andhra Pradesh bagging these investment projects, going on to say that because the TDP's support is crucial to the central government, which is why lakhs and crores of investment is being seen in the state of Andhra Pradesh. Google AI Hub being the latest contention, something that the Prime Minister has also hailed. He was in Andhra Pradesh in Srisailam just a short while ago, where he hailed the rapid development in Andhra Pradesh and the upcoming AI Hub in Vizag.
Google यहाँ हमारे आंध्र प्रदेश में भारत का पहला आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस हब बनाने जा रही है। और कल जब मैं गूगल के सीईओ से बात कर रहा था, उन्होंने मुझे कहा कि अमेरिका के बाहर दुनिया के कई देशों में हमारा निवेश है, लेकिन सबसे ज्यादा निवेश अब हम आंध्र में करने जा रहे हैं। इस नए एआई हब में पावरफुल एआई इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, डेटा सेंटर कैपेसिटी, लार्ज स्केल एनर्जी सोर्सेज और एक्सपांडेड फाइबर ऑप्टिक नेटवर्क शामिल है। गूगल के इस एआई हब इन्वेस्टमेंट में एक नया इंटरनेशनल सबसी गेटवे बनाया जाएगा। इसमें कई इंटरनेशनल सबसी केबल्स शामिल होंगे जो भारत के ईस्टर्न कोस्ट पर विशाखापट्टनम तक पहुंचेगी। इस प्रोजेक्ट से विशाखापट्टनम एक एआई और कनेक्टिविटी हब के रूप में स्थापित होगा। ये केवल भारत ही नहीं बल्कि पूरी दुनिया को सेवा देगा। मैं इसके लिए आंध्र का लोगों को विशेष बधाई देता हूं और चंद्रबाबू के विजन की भूरी भूरी प्रशंसा करता हूं। भारत के विकास के लिए आंध्र प्रदेश का विकास जरूरी है और मैं मानता हूं आंध्र के विकास के लिए रायलसीमा का विकास भी जरूरी है।
We've seen the tweet from Nara Lokesh. They've got a big investment from Google. Although many within the Karnataka Industries Department are saying that they've given heavy concession to Google to set it up. But this pitch saying that Andhra is perhaps doing better, Visakhapatnam seems to be better than Bangalore. How does Karnataka tackle this, counter it?
Lollipop to mil raha hai papa se. If the same papa gives me more money, I'll have more investments. So definitely because they are holding the lion's share in the government, because they have become a very vital in the government, they are getting more money. That's it, no? So if the more money was not coming from the central aid, such tweet would have come. Without taking any central aid, are they doing it? Let him tell, no? What is the contribution coming from the central and the state? If they are doing from the one kitty, then he can talk about all such things. He is getting some ice cream from top. So if ice cream is coming, anybody would love to eat, right? Even a kid wants to eat an ice cream. So it's simple as that. The more money is flowing from central government, the reason is for what? because they've got more number of MPs where the government becomes unstable. Simple thing, any common sense is that that's not a great about him.
My colleagues Aneri and Afreen join us on this broadcast. Let's get started, Aneri, with what's happening in Andhra Pradesh. The Prime Minister today was there as well. He spoke about how Visakhapatnam and Andhra Pradesh is now becoming the next development hub, which will only spur the country's growth. And that's something that Nara Lokesh and the TDP are using to pretty much rub salt on the wounds of Karnataka, isn't it?
Well, definitely now that Prime Minister Modi has also hailed the development and the investments that have been coming to Andhra Pradesh, where Prime Minister Modi was also seen saying that yes, Andhra Pradesh is showing a new way for development for the nation, and also at the same time Prime Minister Modi hit it out at the Congress party, where he says that the development push which was needed was not done back then by the Congress party when they were in power, and now what we see is that under the leadership of Chandrababu Naidu, we are seeing a massive development, various investments coming in Andhra Pradesh, especially in the Rayalaseema region, in Visakhapatnam and other neighboring districts as well. And also at the same time, as we have been seeing how there has been a political slugfest between Nara Lokesh and the ministers in Karnataka, where today we also saw Nara Lokesh hitting out at Karnataka, where he says that, well, though everyone says Andhra's food is spicy, but then the investments also seem to be spicy here, and it looks like the neighboring people are burning already with that. So definitely Nara Lokesh seems to be hitting out, and this comes just a days after the Google had announced its strategic investment in Visakhapatnam for over $15 billion in the next 5 years, creating an AI hub in Visakhapatnam, and that was one big massive investment which Andhra Pradesh has got in the last 1.5 years of the NDA government in the state. And remember, Chandrababu Naidu's vision for Swarna Andhra Pradesh 2047 is this, that to create more jobs for the people, and that was one of the major promises that was made by Chandrababu Naidu during the elections as well.
And Afreen, as far as Karnataka and Bengaluru is concerned, the state government seems to be fighting back, at least as far as Andhra Pradesh goes. They want to say that this is just because the TDP is supporting the central government. But the fact of the matter is that Karnataka is losing out. A lot of corporate honchos have come out and spoken about the kind of urban decay, one would call it, that we are seeing in the IT capital.
Right, Karnataka Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivkumar speaking on Wednesday said that he does not care if, the Andhra Pradesh ministers or Nara Lokesh goes out and markets themselves. He says that nothing or no part of the country can match up to Bengaluru's innovation, the talent pool, the human resources here. He says that world leaders are contacting him so that they can get some amount of time to discuss and, base their campuses in Bengaluru. Now, that's what D.K. Shivkumar said, and today as well, when Karnataka Minister Santosh Lad spoke with CNN News18, he said that, this is happening. All these investments are going to Andhra Pradesh because they have a lion's share in forming the government. He said that if Andhra Pradesh and if Chandrababu Naidu withdraws his support, will he get the same amount of investments to the state? That's what Santosh Lad said. Now, Priyank Kharge has also said that, if industries or if companies want to move to Andhra Pradesh, they're free to do so. But he said, first, let them look at the finances. Now, he says that, this is happening because Andhra Pradesh has become Prime Minister Modi's blue-eyed boy, and Chandrababu Naidu is getting whatever he is asking for. Now, he says that this is because the TDP has a large amount of hand, in making the government form there. So, if both the ministers say that if TDP and if Chandrababu Naidu withdraws his support, are they going to get the same amount of investments in the state of Andhra Pradesh?
Well, it's an attack that has come to the fore and allegations are flying thick and fast. But is Karnataka going to lose out at the gain of Andhra Pradesh? That's really a question that many are asking, even as the politicking continues on the sidelines. Speaking about Karnataka, there's another story that we want to focus on here on Nation at 5, and that is the Karnataka government's ban RSS demand that only seems to be growing or taking new twists and turns with each passing day. In the latest development, Priyank Kharge has shot off another letter to the Chief Minister of the state asking for government employees to be prevented from participating in RSS activities in the state. Not only this, Karnataka minister has also said that those who attended the centenary celebrations of RSS will be facing action. Meanwhile, in Mysuru, RSS supporters staged an I Love RSS campaign amidst all the chorus that's growing from the quarters of the Congress party. This event comes in response to Priyank Kharge's recent call for scrutiny of RSS activities, claiming that they are anti-national and are swaying the youth and children of the state in the wrong direction.
In my own department, there are a lot of people who have attended the centenary celebrations of RSS in the Ganavesha, brandishing lathis. They are state government employees, permanent employees, and they can't do that. And I've already issued them show cause notices. They will be suspended in a day or two. 2013, where Mr. Jagdish Shettar, when he was the CM, says that besides the educational activities and activities that are in the syllabus should be practiced within the government schools and colleges, and no other activities shall be given permission. So what does that make BJP? Anti-RSS? I am also asking the same thing. The Department of Personal and Administrative Reforms, Karnataka State Civil Services Conduct Rules 2021. Very clearly it states you cannot participate in political organizations or organizations that have political affiliations. And that's all we are telling them to enforce. We have been little lax on it. That's why we are seeing a lot of government officials batting on behalf of RSS. If they want to preach religion, if they want to preach RSS philosophy, we will be more than happy to allow them for voluntary retirement and let them actually join the party. We have no problems with that. But as long as you are taking salaries from the government of Karnataka, you have to follow the conduct rules of Karnataka government.
Once again, Congress party has shown its intolerant mindset. The same Congress party which does not have a problem with PFI, SDPI, alliances with SDPI, wants to take action on nationalist organizations like RSS. Priyank Kharge, who wanted a ban on RSS activities on government land, has now stepped up further and said that any government servant participating in RSS activity should be acted upon. This is wholly unconstitutional and illegal. So today, once again, the Congress party has betrayed that it stands against anybody who speaks up in national interest. It wants to intimidate those who speak up in national interest. But it has soft corner for Naxalism. It has soft corner for Tukde gang. It has soft corner for all those anti-India elements for whom they keep batting.
Afreen, my colleague, continues to be with us, getting us more details. Afreen, has the BJP reacted to this 2013 letter that the Congress is now brandishing and asking questions about? That if the BJP government back in 2013 had denied permission for RSS events in public institutions like schools, then why are they now questioning the Congress party? So far, the BJP seems to be mum on that, isn't it?
Right. The BJP has not yet reacted upon this letter that Priyank Kharge also brought out today, and he said that it's not just the Congress government that's doing it now. It was the Jagdish Shettar government in 2013, back in 2013, had said that except for educational purposes, school playgrounds should not be used. Now he's saying that we are not bringing in something new. We are already enforcing what was already there. So he says that why shouldn't we take it forward and ban all sort of RSS related activities in educational institutions of the government land, properties, whatever it could be. He says that why should we not do it if the BJP government had done it back then in 2013. Now, as of now, BJP has not reacted on it. They have been mum. So we could just wait and see if the BJP is going to come out in defense of the letter. What are they going to say? That's something that we should keep a watch on.
And do keep a track of that. For the moment, though, thank you so much, Afreen, for getting us the latest on that front. Political reactions, meanwhile, are trickling in thick and fast. Let's listen in.
Sir, government has now decided to make it very clear on how government properties, especially schools, are used for anything. What's the intent, sir? How does the government plan to go ahead with this?
Government has decided that public properties should not be trespassed. And use of those public properties, of those institutions or the government should be used with the permission. And nobody can't just go, enter, etc., etc. And keeping that in view, there are some laws in the state, parks and public property maintenance, etc. If there is any violation of law, how they should move and how they should go about as regards permission, etc. are concerned.
Any word on government employees taking part in activities of any organization?
No decision was taken or discussed in the cabinet today.
Moving on now, US President Donald Trump has claimed that Prime Minister Modi assured him that India would stop buying Russian oil, a move Trump called a big step in isolating Moscow over its war in Ukraine. But India has made it clear that no such phone call or conversation happened between the two leaders, and that's safeguarding the interests of India and the Indian consumer is what is paramount. The MEA statement also noted that this is a volatile energy scenario and the government's priority is to ensure that the Indian consumer does not bear the brunt of higher prices, that the country's energy imports are currently guided by this objective. Meanwhile, Russian ambassador to India has also said that the Indian government is keeping its national interests in mind and cooperation between the two countries in the energy sector is very much attuned to those interests.
He's assured me there will be no oil purchased from Russia. I don't know, maybe that's a breaking story. Can I say that? Would you say? There will be no oil. He's not buying his oil from Russia. It started. You know, you can't do it immediately. It's a little bit of a process. But the process is going to be over with soon.
New Delhi has once again set the record straight. Ministry of External Affairs going on to confirm that there was absolutely no conversation between US President Donald Trump and Prime Minister Narendra Modi, as claimed by Donald Trump, about India not buying Russian oil. He's also gone on to say that there has been no such conversation between the two leaders yesterday, as opposed to what Donald Trump seemed to have claimed while he was addressing the media late last evening for us.
कि जो हम लोगों ने स्टेटमेंट आज सवेरे आप लोगों के सामने रखा है उस पर आप नज़र डालिए। जहां तक टेलीफोन की बात है तो उसमें मैं ये कह सकता हूं कि मेरी जानकारी के हिसाब से प्रधानमंत्री और राष्ट्रपति ट्रंप के बीच में कोई बातचीत नहीं हुई कल। See, on the issue of energy sourcing, we have made a statement. This was put out in the morning today. We would request you to look at that particular statement for the questions that you have. On the question of whether there was a conversation or a telephone call between Prime Minister Modi and President Trump.
Akanksha now joins us, getting us more details and perspective on this. Akanksha, once again, the facts and Donald Trump's claims don't align. Once again, India has made it very clear that not only did no such conversation happen between the two world leaders, but India is going to keep its interests paramount.
Absolutely, and this is not going to go down well with India and the United States, given that the US President made that statement at the press conference in the White House yesterday. And remember, the MEA has put out a very firm statement, which I would like to, in fact, quote verbatim, Poonam. The MEA, in fact, has stated that safeguarding the interests of the Indian consumer in a volatile energy scenario is the government's priority and the country's energy imports. So there are twin priorities that we are looking at when it comes to securing our energy needs. Of course, one is secure energy imports, also to ensure that there are stable prices in the global market. Soon after that, in fact, statement came in from the US President. There was a lot of fear that the global markets, when it comes to energy and oil imports, may be sort of toppled, but the market so far has looked stable. More importantly, India has maintained and held its ground that our twin policy of ensuring that there is not just controlling of prices within the country, but overall, remember, because the former US ambassador to India has, Eric Garcetti himself, on various public platforms has already maintained that it was at the behest of the United States that India continued and rather amped up its purchase of Russian oil and energy, which is what helped the globe to sort of control the overall prices of Russian energy, not just Russian energy, in fact it was the overall pricing of energy and oil exports that was maintained, and that is something that India still maintains. But this now seems to be becoming quite a conundrum for India to navigate, given that Russian ambassador to India, Ambassador Denis Alipov, has also commented. He said that India's imports from Russia as far as Russian energy and oil is concerned, it is very much in tune and aligned with their own interests when it comes to our when it comes to our own energy needs and purchases. But as you rightly highlighted, this is the second time that the US President has made a comment which has been contradicted by India's Ministry of External Affairs. Most importantly, do highlight the fact that the MEA spokesperson, Mr. Randeep Jaiswal, has categorically gone on record to say that there was no phone call between the Indian Prime Minister and the US President where no such assurance has been offered that India will stop buying Russian oil or energy. How this will go down now with the US President? Will there be a counter remark coming in from either the President or the White House is something we'll have to wait and watch. But this is the second time that contradiction has happened. The first time being when he's made over 50 times those claims of mediating the conflict between India and Pakistan post Operation Sindoor.
Absolutely, but unfortunately, Donald Trump continues to make these baseless claims against India. We'll keep a track of what transpires next. Akanksha, for the moment, thank you so much for getting us the latest. But what exactly does this mean for relations between India and the United States? Is this also time for India to diversify markets, look at other alliance partners? Given the upending of strategic relations between the two countries driven by Donald Trump's tariffs, that's a question that many analysts are looking at very closely. In fact, my colleague Anand Narasimhan spoke with the envoys of Germany and South Africa about the potential weaponization of these Trump-era tariffs and how countries like us can deal with it. Listen to those exclusive conversations.
It's not easy, Ambassador Ackerman, Dr. Ackerman. It's not easy for a nation that's wanting to rise, has a Viksit Bharat story and has a growth story, to actually stand up. Do you think what Bharat's position has been, it's not reacted to provocations by Trump? It's tried to say we'll continue to engage. How easy or difficult is it? And Germany is a very important partner for Bharat. So that's why I'd like to know. As is South Africa. Yeah.
I think, the reaction of the Indian side was, as usual, extremely measured and very wise and diplomatically, I think, smart. But what does it show, this new politics of tariffs, imposing tariffs? For me, it's very difficult to understand that the richest country on earth feels ripped off all the time. I don't understand. How is India ripping off the US? I don't understand. But what I think the lesson Europe has for that is free trade. We have to open up. And what I would say in this context is the FTA, the free trade agreement India and the European Union are about to close or agree upon by the end of this year, is the right counterweight in a way. I think you have to open up your markets in order to get more investment and in order to get more trade flowing between the nations. And, we have seen the incredible development here, economic development over the last couple of years, and it always had a very global angle, although I think the development politically was always in a protectionist mode. But when you look at the private sector of India, it's very global-minded. It goes across the continents. And therefore, I think this FTA, and in a way Trump helps here, I would say, is very, very important to conclude by the end of this year. So I'm very happy that we have made progress. And I think both sides, the European side and the Indian side, are determined to come to an agreement that will certainly change the way Indian business is moving ahead and abroad, and European business is moving into India.
Can people or nations weaponize tariffs and impose who you should trade with and who you should not? Is that fair to any country? Ambassador?
Well, it's unfortunate that we live in an era where trade has been weaponized, and where the very bodies that have been entrusted to oversee global trade, the World Trade Organization, has been rendered almost irrelevant by a party that refuses to address one of the key challenges that has impacted on the functioning of the WTO, its dispute settlement mechanism. But the fact that in this era of tariffs, what we have done, we have created a new era of transactional global economics. That's what's happened. Global economics today is transactional. And you had a party, and as I've said, I mean, you know, one of the things that we learned in South Africa through our own democratic transition and the peaceful transition we had, the apartheid regime was very powerful, had the most powerful military in the African continent. The African National Congress was forced into military confrontation. But we recognize that regime is very powerful. But sanctions brought that regime to its knees. Now, what is happening on the global front? And it's unfortunate, all of the 5 BRICS countries have been targeted. You've been hit with 50% tariffs. Russia is already under sanctions. Brazil has been hit with heavy sanctions. South Africa, highest sanctions in Africa, 30%. And the whole thing is directed against those countries of the global south that actually matter. I mean, China is being threatened with 100% tariffs. And it is these countries who should be working collectively with our partners from the global north. And I'd like to say our partners from the global north are in a very difficult position. I've never, in my over 3 decades as a diplomat, seen a head of state come and chastise another head of state. That's just not on the cards, and that's not how we behave in terms of creating a more inclusive global order. So tariffs is being used. Unfortunately today, power and might is right. That is the norm today. If you're powerful, you flex your muscles. Leaders are afraid. Last week, to give you an example how the G20 is being undermined. Last week, South Africa hosted the G20 trade ministers meeting.
Yes.
Do you know how many ministers were present at that meeting? Because your trade ministers meeting is one of your most important meetings. Why was the G20 created? To address the economic and financial fault lines post the 2008 crisis. There were 6 ministers there. So countries are even afraid to go and take the platform that they may utter something that may offend one party and they'll be hit with another 50% tariff. This is the tragedy of where we are. And I think countries of the global south, we need to stand together. We are not weak. The global south is powerful today. It is this part of the world, countries like India and China, that's the most buoyant in getting the global economy to remain vibrant.
On that note, it's time for a quick break on this edition of Nation at 5. But news and updates continue here on CNN News 18. Do stay tuned.
But the invincible define an era. Witness the unveiling of India's invincible icons on a stage that crowns greatness. CNN News 18 India of the Year 2025 coming soon. This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
But the other top story, of course, is the battle for Bihar. Well, fast-paced developments taking place with the first phase of the nomination now ending. It's just 24 hours really left to go for the first phase nomination deadline to end. Now, the BJP obviously has moved ahead. It's released its third and final list. The JDU has also released its candidate list. In the Mahagathbandhan, the Congress has named 12 candidates. The opposition bloc is yet, however, to announce their seat-sharing formula. We are learning that Congress and the CPI are eyeing the same seats in Begusarai, which is what is delaying the announcement. And also the fact that no meeting has yet been held between the top leaders of the Mahagathbandhan. In a fresh setback for the opposition, Pashupati Paras, the party RLJP, will be contesting elections in an alliance with overseas party AIMIM in Bihar. NDA is all geared up. Suspense, however, continues within the opposition camp as far as the seat-sharing final formula is concerned. Let's listen in to all the reactions, and I'm going to go across to my colleague, Sherin.
बिहार की एनडीए सरकार ने हाल में जो महिला रोजगार योजना शुरू की है, उससे बहनें बहुत खुश हैं। बिहार की 1,20,00,000 बहनों के खाते में हर एक बहन को 10,000 रुपए भेजे जा चुके हैं। आप इन बहनों से मिलिए, आप इन बहनों को ये जरूर बताइए कि ये पैसा सिर्फ एक बार की मदद नहीं है, ये नया रोजगार करने का प्रोत्साहन है और अब ये पैसों के मालिक वही है। आप उन्हें बताइए कि इस पैसे से वो जो काम शुरू करेगी उसे आगे बढ़ाने के लिए और उस काम को देख करके हम और भी मदद करने वाले हैं।
लगातार 2 बार से राघोपुर की जनता जो है हम पर भरोसा की है और जनता जो है मालिक है और ये तीसरी बार जो है हमने नामांकन जो है राघोपुर से की है। बेरोजगारी को जड़ से हमको मिटाना है, बिहार को आगे ले जाना है। लोग त्रस्त हो चुके हैं भ्रष्टाचार से, अपराध से। अब बिहार जो है अपराध मुक्त, भ्रष्टाचार मुक्त प्रदेश बनना चाहता है।
रणनीतिक रूप से जो बिगड़ी हुई चीज थी अब बन रही है क्या?
मैं इतना ही कहूँगा कि स्थिति स्पष्ट नजर आती है। भाजपा ने सभी उम्मीदवार घोषित कर दिए, एनडीए के उम्मीदवारों की घोषणा हो गई, लेकिन महागठबंधन में जूते चप्पल चल रहे हैं, कपड़े फाड़े जा रहे हैं, मार पिटाई हो रही है। लालू प्रसाद यादव मुर्दाबाद के नारे लग रहे हैं, कांग्रेस के प्रभारी को पीटा जा रहा है, कहीं कुछ और चल रहा है। तो एक तरफ से एनडीए आगे बढ़ रही नजर आ रही है, दूसरी ओर आपसी उलझनों में फंसकर महागठबंधन रह गया है और यहाँ तक कि दलितों का अपमान सीधे रूप में नजर आता है। पहले लालू प्रसाद यादव जी ने अंबेडकर जी के आगे पांव रख के, बिल्कुल फोटो के सामने पांव रख के उनका अपमान किया। कांग्रेस तो अंबेडकर जी का शुरू से ही अपमान करती रही, लेकिन जिस तरह से प्रदेश अध्यक्ष दलित हो, मारपीट हो, अपमान हो, महागठबंधन में दलितों का कोई स्थान ही नहीं है।
आपने कई राज्यों के चुनाव देखे हैं और हम इस विधानसभा चुनाव में जब आप ये कहते हैं कि जैसे कुशवाहा की नाराजगी है, मांझी की झिझक है और चिराग की जो माथा है वो तन गया है, इन चीज़ों को डील करने में कितनी कठिनाई आई है और आने वाले दिनों में आएगी भी बीजेपी को?
मैं एक बात स्पष्ट कहूं, सब एकजुट एक स्वर के साथ यही कहते हैं, रफ्तार पकड़ चुका बिहार, फिर एक बार एनडीए सरकार।
Okay, Madhupanna has been travelling through Bihar. Today she is joining us from Siwan to get a sense from her. Madhupanna, on the ground, I know the BJP has made an issue about the Congress, for example, giving a ticket to Shahabuddin's son, or kin, if I'm not mistaken. But apart from that, the RJD, but what I'm saying is, apart from that, on the ground, this sense of disarray within the Mahagठबंधन, do you think that is something which could hurt them? Because after all, the campaign should have started, and at least some kind of an organization. Okay, I'm going to try and connect with Madhupanna, but she's joining us from Siwan. The point is that the contrast is so stark and telling. On one hand, you clearly see the NDA has its house in order. They've announced all the 3 lists, which the BJP did late last night, and very carefully balancing the caste factor, women also being given tickets. Same is the case as far as the JDU is concerned, so as the Chirag Paswan party is concerned. Their readers are already on the ground. The BJP leaders have their charts chalked out for them. They know where they have to go, what kind of campaign, big bang announcements. But look at what has happened on the other side in Mahagठबंधन.
Nominees for the award this year are just simply brilliant. I think it's an assembly line of brilliance.
Incredible. I'm in awe, I'm inspired, and I honestly don't know who to choose.
We had a really tough time to decide. Indians are making it on the global stage, and I believe that whatever happens happens for the best.
We're going to have a really tough time ahead of us to really pick winners.
Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nation at 5. Infosys founder Narayan Murthy and his wife, Member of Parliament of the Rajya Sabha, Sudha Murthy, have declined to participate in Karnataka's ongoing caste survey. When enumerators visited their Jayanagar residence, the couple politely refused and submitted a written declaration stating that they do not belong to the backward class and see no benefit in participating. After their refusal, Karnataka Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivkumar said that the participation in this survey is voluntary and that nobody can be forced to take part. The caste survey, designed by the Karnataka State Commission for Backward Classes, involves extensive questioning and has covered over 15 lakh households in Bengaluru so far.
ಸರ್ ಸುಧಾಮೂರ್ತಿ ಅವರು ಸಮೀಕ್ಷೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಭಾಗವಹಿಸಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಡಿಕ್ಲರೇಷನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ
ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೋ. ಇದು ಎಸ್ಎಲ್ಸಿ ಮನೆ ಸಮೀಕ್ಷೆ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾನು ಏನು ಹೇಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬರಲ್ಲ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೇನು ಮಾಹಿತಿ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಇದು ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ಲಿ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಇದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾನು ಕಮೆಂಟ್.
My colleague Rohini now joins me, getting us more inputs and perspective on this. Rohini, the development only begs this one question, that if it is voluntary and if that people can decide whether they want to take part or not, as D.K. Shivkumar said, then what is really the point of this survey at all? Is it going to have any credibility at the end of it?
Well, that's also something that is quite worrisome to the Congress government. And they're also worried that when such eminent personalities like Rajya Sabha MP Sudha Murthy as well as Narayan Murthy and their family do not take part in it, what kind of outcome they would see, because they're already facing pushback in several parts of Bengaluru. Now, Bengaluru is one of the many cities that are actually lagging behind in this particular caste survey. Let me tell you, caste survey is a very loosely used term. What the Karnataka government says is the socio-economic educational survey, and they need to understand the various strata of society in Karnataka as well as the population. Now, 7 crore households need to be covered in this, but they also say that such kind of pushback is being seen, especially in Bengaluru. Now, very clearly, Sudha Murthy in her declaration said that she doesn't see any relevance in giving the information that they asked. Now, this is 60. The question is 60 questions, and they don't see any relevance of what they're sharing with for the government to use, and that is why they have politely declined this particular. And they also said they do not belong to this backward community. Now, this largely the first the census earlier was conducted as a caste census to understand the backward classes, but they actually increased the realm of this particular caste census and said it's a socio-economic educational survey to understand the various strata. Now, but since it is being considered as a caste census, the questions are directly also regarding caste, property and details of people, and there's a pushback amongst people. What they're saying is some of the questions are invading into their privacy. Certain details they do not want to share. So why do I need to share it with the government? Because then it will come into public domain. So there's a lot of political pushback we're seeing from the BJP, also saying that this is to split the communities. The second, you also see the Congress saying we're trying to unite Karnataka and this caste census will help understanding Karnataka better. But the people also say that you're invading into our privacy with these questionnaires, which is so long, it almost takes a couple of hours. And let me tell you that the enumerators who are actually going are quite frustrated themselves, because they say that, first of all, they have been deputed in places 30-40 kilometers away from their homes. Several of them are teachers, and they have the burden of not only doing this enumeration and later also school and other corrections and examinations are on as well. You have to understand that they're also human beings. So a lot of pushback on multiple levels, and this definitely is going to have a cascading effect on the caste survey.
Absolutely, and politically what this would mean for the Congress party, that's something that we'll have to watch out for as well. But Rohini, for the moment, thank you so much for getting us the latest. Shifting focus now to what's transpiring in our neighborhood. The clashes between Pakistan and Afghanistan finally came to an end, at least temporarily, after a 48-hour truce was agreed by both parties. Pakistan is now targeting civilian areas as tensions with the Taliban continue. This is the latest that we are gathering, that many unarmed Afghan citizens, even children, have been killed in broad daylight. At least 17 people were killed, including 9 children, in one particular area of Kabul. The UN assistance mission in Afghanistan has now urged Pakistan to stop targeting civilian areas. Meanwhile, Pakistan's Defence Minister Khwaja Asif has expressed doubts whether the ceasefire will hold at all, not pointing to the fact that it is Pakistan's forces that continue to break that ceasefire. In fact, he's also accused the Taliban of taking orders from New Delhi, dragging India into a fight that was never India's to begin with. Khwaja Asif claimed that Kabul's decisions are influenced by India, referencing to Taliban leader Muttaqi's recent visit to the country. Despite this skepticism, Asif welcomed the possibility of US intervention to help resolve this conflict.
What is your response to the Pakistani attack on civilians in Afghanistan and the current situation along the Af-Pak border?
First of all, I would say we were not the first to attack. They attacked Paktika province in the east of the country. We retaliated.
Okay.
Secondly, they bombed the civilian areas, which led to casualty among the civilians, and more than 100 were injured and tens of them martyred. So this, I think, this very atrocities against humanity to target civilian people.
Well, you're also the Taliban ambassador to Doha. We come to the Qatar aspect in a bit, but Pakistan is actually claiming that their strikes have been anti-terror. But now Taliban, and there are pictures and images coming through where women, children have been killed. How does the Taliban government look at this, and what will be your response? Because this is a direct attack at civilians. This is not an anti-terror strike.
Yeah, it is a direct assault on the people. You may have seen the videos, and all the people saw the videos. They were not military people, but civilian people. And what they say, they claim is not true. Of course, we do not target civilian people. Even across the border, they are from the same tribe, people. We only target military post and the border. Of course, the Afghan forces retaliate, but only target military posts. They are instructed not to target any civilian people.
Well, Afghanistan is compromised with respect to air power. So this looks like an uneven kind of a war that's been imposed on Afghanistan. But Pakistan's claim is that Afghanistan and the Taliban regime is harboring the TTP. But the attacks are on Afghan sovereign soil. How would you look at it? And is this with your consent, or is this without your consent?
I think first of all, they should bring solid proof in order, if there is anything. They should have proof, not claims, because claims are not true. Secondly, when there is a delegation from the government side, from Pakistan civil government side in Kabul, at the same time they many times bombed our eastern provinces in Afghanistan. So it means that they do not believe in diplomacy.
I have my doubts कि ये होल्ड करेगा, क्योंकि तालिबान जो है ना वो मैंने जिस तरह आपको कहा है ना कि वो इस वक्त उनके जो फैसले जो है ना वो सारे दिल्ली से स्पॉन्सर हो रहे हैं। और मुत्तकी साहब एक हफ्ता वहाँ पे बैठे रहे हैं, अब वापस आ गए हैं, क्या प्लान लेके आए हैं। तो मेरा ख्याल है कि ये इस वक्त काबुल जो है वो दिल्ली की प्रॉक्सी वॉर लड़ रहा है। अब उनका इन्फ्लुएंस जो है, जो हमारे कॉमन दोस्त हैं, उनके इन्फ्लुएंस को काउंटर कर सकता है या नहीं कर सकता, उससे इन्फ्लुएंस हो सकता है नहीं हो सकता। देयर इज अ क्वेश्चन मार्क इन इट, यू नो, इट्स अ बिट प्रीमैच्योर कि मैं उस पर कमेंट करूं।
largest News 18 network. India's largest news network.
But the other top story, of course, is the battle for Bihar. Well, fast-paced developments taking place with the first phase of the nomination now ending. It's just 24 hours really left to go for the first phase nomination deadline to end. Now, the BJP obviously has moved ahead. It's released its third and final list. The JDU has also released its candidate list. In the Mahagathbandhan, the Congress has named 12 candidates. The opposition bloc is yet, however, to announce their seat-sharing formula. We are learning that Congress and the CPI are eyeing the same seats in Begusarai, which is what is delaying the announcement. And also the fact that no meeting has yet been held between the top leaders of the Mahagathbandhan. In a fresh setback for the opposition, Pashupati Paras, the party RLJP, will be contesting elections in an alliance with overseas party AIMIM in Bihar. NDA is all geared up. Suspense, however, continues within the opposition camp as far as the seat-sharing final formula is concerned. Let's listen in to all the reactions, and I'm going to go across to my colleague, Shireen.
बिहार की एनडीए सरकार ने हाल में जो महिला रोजगार योजना शुरू की है, उससे बहनें बहुत खुश हैं। बिहार की 1 करोड़ 20 लाख बहनों के खाते में हर एक बहन को 10,000 रुपए भेजे जा चुके हैं। आप इन बहनों से मिलिए। आप इन बहनों को ये जरूर बताइए कि ये पैसा सिर्फ एक बार की मदद नहीं है, ये नया रोजगार करने का प्रोत्साहन है और अब ये पैसों के मालिक वही है। आप उन्हें बताइए कि इस पैसे से वो जो काम शुरू करेगी उसे आगे बढ़ाने के लिए और उस काम को देख करके हम और भी मदद करने वाले हैं।
लगातार 2 बार से राघोपुर की जनता जो है हम पर भरोसा की है और जनता जो है मालिक है और ये तीसरी बार जो है हमने नामांकन जो है राघोपुर से की है। बेरोजगारी को जड़ से हमको मिटाना है, बिहार को आगे ले जाना है। लोग त्रस्त हो चुके हैं भ्रष्टाचार से, अपराध से। अब बिहार जो है अपराध मुक्त, भ्रष्टाचार मुक्त प्रदेश बनना चाहता है।
रणनीतिक रूप से जो बिगड़ी हुई चीज थी अब बन रही है क्या?
मैं इतना ही कहूंगा कि स्थिति स्पष्ट नजर आती है। भाजपा ने सभी उम्मीदवार घोषित कर दिए, एनडीए के उम्मीदवारों की घोषणा हो गई, लेकिन महागठबंधन में जूते चप्पल चल रहे हैं, कपड़े फाड़े जा रहे हैं, मार पिटाई हो रही है। लालू प्रसाद यादव मुर्दाबाद के नारे लग रहे हैं, कांग्रेस के प्रभारी को पीटा जा रहा है, कहीं कुछ और चल रहा है। तो एक तरफ से एनडीए आगे बढ़ रही नजर आ रही है, दूसरी ओर आपसी उलझनों में फंसकर महागठबंधन रह गया है और यहाँ तक कि दलितों का अपमान सीधे रूप में नजर आता है। पहले लालू प्रसाद यादव जी ने अंबेडकर जी के आगे पांव रख के, बिल्कुल फोटो के सामने पांव रख के उनका अपमान किया। कांग्रेस तो अंबेडकर जी का शुरू से अपमान करती रही, लेकिन जिस तरह से प्रदेश अध्यक्ष दलित हो, मारपीट हो, अपमान हो, महागठबंधन में दलितों का कोई स्थान ही नहीं है।
आपने कई राज्यों के चुनाव देखे हैं और हम इस विधानसभा चुनाव में जब आप ये कहते हैं कि जैसे कुशवाहा की नाराजगी है, मांझी की झिझक है और चिराग की जो माथा है वो तन गया है, इन चीज़ों को डील करने में कितनी कठिनाई आई है और आने वाले दिनों में आएगी भी बीजेपी को?
मैं एक बात स्पष्ट कहूं, सब एकजुट एक स्वर के साथ यही कहते हैं, रफ्तार पकड़ चुका बिहार, फिर एक बार एनडीए सरकार।
Okay, Madhupanna has been travelling through Bihar. Today she is joining us from Siwan to get a sense from her. Madhupanna, on the ground, I know the BJP has made an issue about the Congress, for example, giving a ticket to Shahabuddin's son, or kin, if I'm not mistaken. But apart from that, sorry, the RJD, but what I'm saying is, apart from that, on the ground, this sense of disarray within the Mahagathbandhan, do you think that is something which could hurt them? Because after all, the campaign should have started, and at least some kind of an organization. Okay, I'm going to try and connect with Madhupanna, but she's joining us from Sivan. The point is that the contrast is so stark and telling. On one hand, you clearly see the NDA has its house in order. They've announced all the 3 lists, which the BJP did late last night, and very carefully balancing the caste factor, women also being given tickets. Same is the case as far as the JDU is concerned, so as the Chirag Paswan party is concerned. Their readers are already on the ground. The BJP leaders have their charts chalked out for them. They know where they have to go, what kind of campaign, big bang announcements. But look at what has happened on the other side. In Mahagathbandhan, the cookie, so to say, is crumbling. There are parties who still have no clarity on how many seats they are going to be getting. That important final seat sharing talk, which should have taken place by now. Okay, Madhupanna is back with us from Sivan. Madhupanna, that's what I was asking. I mean,
Welcome back. Virat Kohli posted a cryptic message on social media hours after arriving in Australia for his ODI comeback against the hosts. Kohli posted, "The only time you truly fail is when you decide to give up," and that has now sparked speculation about his future, especially with the 2027 World Cup approaching. Kohli, along with Rohit Sharma, in fact, is set to play in the 3-match ODI series against Australia starting October 19th. India's head coach Gautam Gambhir had wished both players well when he spoke with us a few weeks ago, but has that changed? That's what people are talking about, at least on social media.
Virat Kohli's latest social media posts sent fans and the cricketing world into a frenzy. Hours after landing in Perth with the Indian ODI squad, Kohli broke his long social media silence with a cryptic message that had everyone guessing. Is the king hinting at something bigger? The 36-year-old posted on X, "The only time you truly fail is when you decide to give up." Simple words but loaded with meaning. Coming just days after rumours of his retirement began swirling, the timing of that post could not have been more deliberate. Kohli, who last played for India in March, had already bid goodbye to T20I last year after India's World Cup triumph and walked away from Test cricket earlier this year as well. So when he spoke of not giving up, fans saw it as a message of intent that Virat Kohli wasn't done yet. The post came barely hours after Indian team touched down in Perth for the 3-match ODI series against Australia, sparking massive engagement online and effectively silencing retirement chatter, at least for now. But 2 hours later, what many thought was an emotional statement from the batter turned out to be part of a digital campaign for his apparel brand, a clever crossover. Even so, for millions of fans, the takeaway from this is clear. Virat Kohli isn't walking away just yet. The fire still burns, and the man who redefined India's batting era seems to have found yet another way to keep everyone talking.
A few days ago, the living hostages that were taken by Hamas have returned. There are several bodies of those that were killed by Hamas in the last 2 years still remain in Gaza. My colleague Akanksha Swaroop, in fact, spoke with one of the Israeli survivors whose family was taken hostage during the October 7 attacks. He recounts his ordeal. He stresses that Hamas cannot be trusted.
After how many hours of fighting did you discover that your wife and 3 children were taken as hostages?
After some hours of fighting, I managed to pull out my phone and start to text my wife. At first, she said that everything is all right, but at around 11, that's just over 4 hours after the whole ordeal started, there was the last message I got from her, and the last message was terrorists are coming in, and they came into our house. They broke through the window and they opened the safe room door, which you cannot lock from inside. And they just went inside, and there was screaming. My wife, Hagar, she hid the kids under the sheets. But they found them pretty quickly. They started screaming. Abigail kept on hiding. And they, at gunpoint, they didn't fire because Hagar screamed at them that it's only a girl. And they picked up the sheets and they saw this little girl that both her parents had just been shot and killed a few hours before. And now they picked all of them up, my wife, my 3 kids, and Abigail. They asked for the car keys, and they all shoved all 5 of them inside our car and drove off to Gaza with my wife and my 3 kids.
So
And
they were gone when you returned after fighting the terrorists.
I got injured on that fight by an RPG. I was injured from shrapnel, and I couldn't walk. I had a friend of mine that came over to try and help me, and he got shot as well, and he was wounded very badly. And I couldn't go and rescue them. I had to keep on fighting while being wounded. I could hardly move.
Mm-hmm.
We were rescued in the afternoon, and I was flown over to the hospital. And a nurse, when I landed at the hospital, at Sheba Hospital in Israel, a nurse handed me her phone, and she asked me if I wanted to call my family so they could come and visit me. And I told her that my whole family is gone.
So you had assumed that they're dead?
Definitely. I saw what was going on, and
Okay. Now the scene shifts to Gaza in my head. I mean, it's all so vivid as you're talking. What was Hagar's experience there? How did she protect herself and the 3 children in Gaza? How did Hamas treat her? There's so many questions that are coming to my mind.
At first when they were taken there, the terrorists had actually opened the doors, and they took my daughter and they showed her to the people, the gathering of the people over there, and they were shouting. It was in amusement, and they took my wife by the hair and they showed her to everyone, and everybody was cheering, and they were very proud of what they did. And they took them to an apartment, and they were locked there in a room. After a while, after about 2 weeks, they moved them to another apartment, and they started starving them. And Hagar was not only with my kids, she had another girl that had seen her mom and dad being shot and killed
daughter.
before her eyes. That's right. And
Welcome everyone. Thanks a lot for staying with us. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Shivani Gupta. Donald Trump is at it again, and with it, the Congress party in India. After Trump claimed that Indian Prime Minister has given him an assurance to stop buying Russian oil, the Congress party has jumped immediately into this diplomatic row, attacking the PM of giving in to US pressures. Trump's claims have achieved a level of notoriety that even his own citizens take them with a pinch of salt. So why should any Indian party keep his word above its own government's? That's the big question. After all, there have been no proofs from the US administration to substantiate any of Trump's claims on either India-Pak ceasefire mediation or now import of Russian oil. In fact, all evidence and statements by third parties prove Pakistan begged US and Saudi Arabia to save them from Indian military's wrath, and eventually their DGMO called